everybody. It's 10 o'clock. Marielle and I, we are extremely happy that we can invite you today to a webinar about a great device which may help you to sort out problems which you had with connections. And it's a really, really exciting device. It's smart, it's easy to use, and we are really excited that we can present this today. So on my side is Marielle as well. Okay, so
Hi, everyone.
excellent. So as usually, if you have questions, please write it in the chat and then we take them, we will answer them in the end. Okay, so let's start. So what we will talk about today, first I give you again a small recap about the SoundTie 3 package, what it all includes. Then, of course, I will explain what is this easily adapter, what is this fantastic device we are going to discuss today, which smartphones, tablets can be connected to this device. And then we will provide some additional information, and there will be also some questions which may come up. So we would also like to if you have questions for yourself, but then also we provide you with some questions which have come up as we have shown now. Okay, let's see if we can mute. Yeah, okay. And in the end, of course, we will have the question and answer session. So we know that connections matters for our customers. Living with a hearing loss can often make it extremely difficult to connect with the loved ones. And therefore, with SoundTie 3, we have a fantastic solution of Philips. So we can help hearing aid users to create connection with others, with the world, with themselves. Whether they are at home, in a restaurant, whether they are out with friends, Philips Hearing Solution supports the hearing aid user on their journey to better hearing and helps them to live a better, great, and fulfilled life. What we already know has been included in the SoundTie 3, but I still would like to recap it again because it's very important and very interesting. SoundTie 3 technology includes a lot of aspects regarding apps, connectivity, connection, and accessories. SoundTie 3 technology lets HearLink 50 instruments conveniently interact with smartphones, wireless accessories, helping users to connect to calls, TVs, movies, and music seamlessly. Then we do have also the HearLink 2 app, which allows to manage, to control the hearing aid. It allows to stream, and it also allows to manage the objective which the client would like to have with the hearing instrument. Then we do have all these different connection protocols for HearLink 50, what we are mainly talking about today. We do have the Bluetooth LE Audio protocol, which allows hands-free calls to a lot also of Android phones. Then we have MFI made for iPhone. All Philips hearing aids are made for iPhone. Therefore, there are no limitations in terms of use. Then we do have also the ASHA protocol. The ASHA protocol has been introduced with HearLink 40. It's also available at 50. And ASHA protocol helps for streaming and one-way communication. And then now it has even introduced with HearLink 50 a dedicated streaming path. And this streaming path will be managed and amplified and controlled separately from the microphone. So therefore now the streaming signal will not be interrupted or will not be reduced by any noise reduction system. So a lot of great features which we can offer with all these Philips protocols. Then we do have hands-free communication, which now is available, yes, for iPhone. iPhone, you have the possibility to accept calls with the push button or with tap controls, and hands-free communication is also now available for HearLink 50 with the LE audio protocol to a number of selected Android smartphones. And then last but not least, we have still our wireless accessories, wireless accessories, which have always been helpful to connect our hearing aid users to their outer world. Philips HearLink 40 instruments are compatible with the ASHA protocol, which I already mentioned, which allows the users to stream audio directly from a compatible Android device. And Philips HearLink 50 now is equipped with Bluetooth LE audio and is ready for future communication technologies such as Auracast broadcast audio streaming. So users with compatible Android phones and tablets that can handle any audio can in future also directly connect to these broadcast audio sources, which may be available in public places. If we look at the wireless accessories, just to recap what we all have, we have the HearLink 2 app. Then we still have the Philips audio clip, which allows to connect to all smartphones. Then we still have the Philips TV adapter. We do have the Philips remote control. And now we do have this great Easy Lee adapter added to the SoundTie 3 package. So here you see a picture of a smartphone, and here below you see this Easy Lee adapter connected. So you see it's really a small device. So the Easy Lee adapter now bridges the technology gap and brings USB-C enabled smartphones and other devices up to speed with the latest Bluetooth technology. Bluetooth LE audio. It enables direct streaming and hands-free communication with compatible phones, tablets, and PCs. The Easy Lee adapter is manufactured by Mainami Acoustics Limited. It is not a medical device, so it is not an original product of Philips. This means that it could also be used by a competitor, or it could also be used with other LE audio devices, such as earbuds. The benefits of the Easy Lee adapter include, among others, of course, a better all-round experience while streaming audio from their favorite smartphone or tablets, high-quality hands-free calls from Android phones, tablets, or PCs with a USB-C port, seamless two-way audio from PCs with a USB-C port when having video calls or online meetings, optimized for phones and tablet usage with pass-through charging. And it also actually switches between devices seamlessly without needing to pair the adapter more than once. So if it's once connected to the phone, if it's once connected to the tablet, then you do not need to pair the Easy Lee adapter again. Let's have a closer look at the adapter. You see it's a very small device. Here we do have the USB-C connector, which, as I mentioned, can be plugged into a smartphone to support incoming calls or outgoing calls immediately. And also we recommend to plug it in immediately to also avoid to getting it lost. Then we do have the charging port. So I will talk about the charging port in a moment. Then there is a LED indicator here on the back. And here we do have the reset system button, which I will also mention in a moment. It's extremely easy to get the EasyLi adapter ready for use. There are 3 main steps. First, we must plug in the adapter, as we see here, the smartphone and the adapter. Plug in the EasyLi adapter into the USB port of the phone, tablet, or PC. The adapter will immediately power on and enter into pairing mode. Pairing mode is indicated by the LED indicator, and it will flash rapidly in blue. In this mode, the EasyLi adapter will search for LE audio devices in a range of 2 meters ready to pair. So it means it will instantly look out for the hearing instruments and get them ready for pairing. Second step, you must activate the hearing instruments. To activate or restart your hearing instruments, just insert them into the charger and remove them again. So by this restart, the instruments will be in the pairing mode for 3 minutes and allow you enough time to get connected to the EasyLi adapter. Then already the last step, all you have to do now, the EasyLi adapter has been connected, the hearing instruments are in pairing mode, and now you just wait for the hearing aids and the adapter you pair. Pairing is complete when the LED indicator changes from flashing blue to showing a steady blue light for 5 seconds, and then it powers off, and then you know now the EasyLi adapter is ready for use. You may ask, how am I going to charge my phone if I plug in the EasyLi adapter in the port? It's actually very, very easy, as we have seen in the device. It has actually an extra port, charging port, so that we can make sure that you can actually charge your smartphone directly through the EasyLi adapter. You can charge the phone up to 9 volt 2 ampere or 5 volt 3 ampere standard charging. Charging time will actually depend on your device's battery capacity. We must mention that any fast charging technology or data transfer is not supported when using the charging port. To access data transfer, remove the EasyLi adapter from your device and then plug in your cable. Also, a small remark is that it will not have enough power to support the charging of PCs. So computers actually would need to be charged without the EasyLi adapter. Then I mentioned that we see here this reset button. It may be necessary, maybe sometimes, to reset the EasyLi adapter. And it is very, very easy to reset it. Just to take a pointed tool and insert it here in this reset button. And then actually the adapter will the reset button will start flashing, and then you know when it's flash blue, it's finished flashing, then you know it has actually been reset, and then you can use it again. You can pair it with a new set of hearing instrument, then it should work properly again. The EasyLi adapter is compatible with Philips HearLink 50. For the time being, it's available with 50, and then of course it will be also compatible with future hearing instruments. The EasyLi adapter does not support call handling and controls via push button and tap control. This is not possible. The reason is that the hearing aids does not know if the EasyLi adapter is streaming music or if it is in a two-way call. Therefore, the hearing aid does not know what command to send to the EasyLi adapter. Pressing the button on the hearing instruments during streaming will control the streaming or the call volume. It's just something which you need to consider and tell the customer if he tries to answer a call with tap or with the button. And Easily Adapter is intended for use with Android phones and tablet, and it's not compatible with iPhones and iPads with USB port. So I would like to show you with this video, small video, everything you have to know, how it's connected, how is the reset, and hope you will enjoy it. So it's a very nice video. You could maybe a video which you can show in your shops, in the waiting room, so your clients get also an idea about the Easily Adapter, about this very, very nice tool. Now, which devices can be connected to the Easily Adapter? Because we have tested a few devices to really make sure that we can recommend some devices which really work with the Easily Adapter. Well, first of all, what we already mentioned, it's meant for Philips hearing aid with Bluetooth LE Audio, which right now is the Philips HearLink 50. It's meant for Android phones and tablets with USB-C port and PCs with USB-C port. So there is one limitation on some Android phones. So many phones or a lot of phones and tablets with a 3.5 millimeter audio jack may not work with the Easily Adapter. And the reason for this is that most Android phones and tablets with a 3.5 jack, there the manufacturers actually choose to route the signal through the audio port instead than through the USB port. And therefore, the Easily Adapter in these cases cannot be used. Also not used for iPhone, iPad, Mac and Vision Pro. And it's also not intended for use with Android phones that support Bluetooth LE Audio, because of course for these phones it's recommended to connect them directly and to stream sounds directly with Bluetooth LE Audio. So we do have tested a number of phones, Android smartphones, with and without audio jack, which work. So here is a big list of Google, Huawei, HTC, Motorola, OnePlus, a lot of Samsung Galaxy, Sony, Vivo, and Xiaomi. So all these phones which you find here, we will distribute the presentation to you, so then you have this as a reference. All these Android phones who have no 3.5 millimeter audio jack, they perfectly work with the LE Audio. It has been tested by us. And then there are a few limited Android phones with a 3.5 millimeter jack audio or jack connector, as we see here. Much fewer However, we have tested them, and these actually, they do work. So still, we do have a Blue phone, we do have a few Pixel, a few Google phones, we have one Huawei model, a few Motorola. We still have a few Samsung Galaxy phones which should work. Then there is the Oppo and the OnePlus. So as you see, there are quite a number of phones which are available, but of course, in all these thousands of phones which exist in the market, maybe not all the phones work. How do you know now if the smartphone of your customer is compatible with any connectivity device or with the EasyLi adapter? Don't forget to check up the compatibility guide on your Philips Hearing Solution website, because this is really the easiest way to see which hearing instrument is compatible with which smartphone. So if your customer would like to buy a hearing instrument and then he also needs a smartphone, then you can check there immediately which smartphones are compatible, or if he asks you, is this phone compatible? It's a very, very nice source to check. And to remind you again how to access the compatibility guide, it is actually in Hearing Solutions Philips, support connectivity, and then this site actually opens up. You choose the country where you are in, and then you do have the possibility to enter the hearing instruments and the smartphone. Now, in our example, the client has a HearLink 50 Mini, right? And he would like to know if the Samsung Galaxy A33 is compatible with his HearLink 50 Mini, right? So HearLink 50 Mini, right, will use the ASHA protocol for one-way streaming with the Samsung Galaxy A33, and hands-free communication would be possible in this case with the EasyLi adapter or the audio clip. And this is indicated here below. You see here the Galaxy A33, audio streaming, yes, hands-free communication with an accessory, and it has been tested by Philips. So if you see that it has been tested by us, then you know that this information is reliable. Now, if we go back to see what accessories actually needed to hands-free communication, click on accessory, and then here you see on one side you have the EasyLi adapter, which is compatible, and we always have the HearLink, the Philips audio clip, which is also compatible. But of course, the EasyLi adapter is the great solution which is available now. So always happy to remind you that the Philips website includes so much great and useful information. In case of any doubts, just go to the compatibility guide. For the time being, there are not a lot of resources available. However, it's a very, very nice guide, which we also share with you together with the presentation and the recording today. It's the EasyLi adapter pairing and troubleshooting guide. With a few steps, it explains you again how to connect it, and it also mentions a number of questions which could arise when you use the EasyLi adapter. So you will get this document together with all the information of this webinar later on. And then, yes, of course, what I just mentioned before, check out the compatibility guide to see what devices are compatible. Now there is some information which we would also like to share with you, which is important to know. The EasyLi adapter is compatible with HearLink 50 hearing instruments, basically released with software HearSuite 2024.1, and it also will be available for new instruments which we are going to launch during this year, also during next year. To get the best experience when using the EasyLea adapter, we strongly encourage you to update the HearLink 50 to the latest available firmware, which is version 1.2.1. Do this before pairing and using with the EasyLea adapter. Then we can assure that the device works smoothly. Because with older softwares, it may happen that the hearing aid user can have distortions or connectivity problems because the previous software and firmwares do not officially support the EasyLea adapter. Now, most important question, how can I get it and when can I get it? What I mentioned earlier, that the EasyLea adapter is not a Philips product. It is developed and produced by Meinami Acoustics Limited. The manufacturer is therefore responsible for registration in the worldwide markets where registration is required. It's not a medical registration. It is actually a registration for electrical appliance with radio wave. And this registration is needed for a device like a dongle. Therefore, even in countries where hearing aids do not need registration, the EasyLea adapter probably will need one. So therefore, registration now has already started in various markets. The EasyLea adapter is already available in a few markets, and more markets will be added constantly. Now, for you to know if the EasyLea adapter is available in your market, we really recommend that you get in touch with your sales director, which I think is Thomas Flückiger, and then he can tell you what the status is, if it's already registered in your market or not. So with this, I would like to summarize the short introduction about the EasyLea adapter. It's really, really a great tool which can resolve problems when your hearing aid user cannot connect the hearing instruments to a smartphone which he has just bought. For the time being, what we mentioned, it's available for HearLink 50. It really, really has excellent streaming sound and also hands-free call sound. Also now, because this special streaming path which we have developed, which is also then used through the EasyLea adapter. And as you have seen in my explanation, it's very, very easy to connect and to use. Pairing is done very, very fast and very, very intuitive. Plug it in, leave it, and just use it on various devices. Now with this, I will see if some questions have already arrived. I think not right now. So
yes, Christina, we don't have any questions.
Okay, so let's see then maybe, yeah. As we already mentioned before, we have prepared some questions for you, questions which you may think, oh, very interesting, I didn't think about it. And so Marielle,
Okay,
she
so
will guide
I
you
will
through this
take
question.
over. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you,
So for
Marielle.
you guys, if you have noticed, I don't have the usual Philips background that we have, and that's because I don't want to blur my unboxing. So this is what the box looks like. Let's say you received it in your clinic. That is what it looks like. As Christina has mentioned, it's produced by the Chinese company, Minami, and hopefully with the tariffs coming, it won't be an issue, fingers crossed. But this is what it looks like. And if you open that, okay, it's not this difficult usually to open it, but there you go. So that's what it looks like. You open the flap, and then inside here is where you will find the actual adapter. That's what it looks like. So it's not small, it's not big. We did some studies too with our older clients, and based on their feedback, they wanted something which is not too small of a dongle. That's why it's this size. So any USB with any Android device with a USB-C, of course, there. This is how you put it, and it's really simple. If you want to start using it immediately, all you need to do is just plug it, and then it lights up. So that's what it looks like. And then you restart the hearing aids, the HearLink 50, and then after you wait a few minutes and all the LEDs are functioning, then you can immediately start streaming. So it's really that simple. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to do a rapid fire round of question and answer. But before we do that, we got a question from Dimitrios. So his question is, could it work for a PC that has no USB-C, but only a standard USB with a standard USB to USB-C adapter? Thank you so much, Dimitrios. We will get right to that question. Actually, that's one of the frequently asked questions that we encountered. And even personally in my PC, of course, I wanted to know, because not everyone has a USB-C outlet, right? So I will get to that, promise, Dimitrios. But let's go to the questions now. So as you can see, the first question would be, what if my HearLink 50 devices are not updated to the latest firmware? So let's say you forgot, you're seeing a patient, you have old stock of the HearLink 50 hearing aid, and you haven't had the chance to update the firmware. So you have the older version, like 1.0.1 or 1.1.0. So your client can experience streaming errors since the older firmware versions, actually, they are not designed to support the Easy LE adapter. It is still possible that they might work, of course, but we still recommend, if you can, well, not if you can, you should remember to have the hearing aid updated to the latest firmware with a minimum of 1.2.0 and newer, of course. Next question. So to answer your question, Dimitrios, my device does not have a USB-C port. So in the case of a laptop, for example, we only have the USB-A, and that is the one that you see in this picture right here. So is it possible to, okay, never mind. So you can see that silver part there, that square part, that's a USB-A. And the answer to your question is, thank you so much, Christina. Yes, it is possible to use an adapter. So for example, the adapter that you see right here, and we have tried this in the office, not all adapters work. So it is better to really try it out and not to promise your patients anything, but it is also possible that it works. So do it at your own risk, okay? Okay, going to the next one. Is the Easy LE adapter a generic or proprietary accessory? Does it work only with Philips HearLink 50 hearing aids? So as Christina has mentioned before, this adapter has been created by a third-party Chinese manufacturer and is not considered a medical device. So this means that it can also be used by competitor device, theoretically speaking. It is possible. If you are also prescribing other demand hearing aids, actually that's also compatible. As long as it's from demand, it's also compatible. Theoretically, it's also compatible with other competitor products if they support LE audio. I mean, with no, yeah. But the thing here is we actually have not tested it officially. So theoretically, it's possible, but officially, we do not recommend it because there's really a chance that there would be a lot of bugs, sound quality issues, streaming issues, etc. So the official recommendation we have is Easy LE adapter, HearLink 50 devices, and make sure the HearLink devices are updated to the newest firmware 1.2.1. Next question. Okay. Did I take control? Okay, yeah. Okay, so next question. How does the Easy LE adapter work with an Asha-enabled Android phone? So this is simple, as I showed you earlier. Once the adapter is already connected, it actually takes the streaming priority, meaning the sound will automatically stream to the LE adapter via LE audio, of course. And the moment you actually take out the LE adapter, it goes back to the default sound output. So that could be your AirPods or from the phone, whatever is selected. Will users be able to use the Easy LE adapter with mobile phones such as Samsung S23 or 24 that are supposed to have actually LE audio, but have issues working? So theoretically, they do have LE audio, but sometimes they have issues. And the answer to that is this Easy LE adapter officially is designed for phones that do not have LE audio. So our official recommendation is that it should be used. It's intended to be used only for non-LE audio phones, but we have done tests where we also plugged it into LE audio hearing aids, and it works, not all, but it's possible. So you can see the common theme here. It's better to try it out yourself for some of these devices. Can users be connected to more than one Easy LE adapter? For example, if the user wants to have an LE adapter in the phone and another one in the PC, and the answer to that is no, it is not possible to connect. It's only possible to have one Easy LE adapter instead of two. So if you want to use it, you have to unplug it from your phone, plug it in the laptop, or vice versa. Will the Easy LE adapter work with an HDMI to USB-C adapter? So again, this is possible because there's so many adapters out there in the market. And the specifications are not always the same. But the answer to that is it's not likely, because for the adapter to work, it needs to support this thing called DisplayPort alternate mode. And when you talk about DisplayPort, it usually supports visual content, and it does not support audio. And since the Easy LE adapter is an audio device, then it's most likely, highly likely, that it is not supported with this HDMI. Next, can the streaming equalizer in the HearLink 2 app adjust the audio signal which is streamed from the Easy LE adapter? Of course, if you talk about any streamed content to the HearLink 50s, as long as it's streamed, it is adjustable via streaming equalizer. Next, is there a way to turn off the Easy LE adapter while it is still plugged into the phone, rather than disconnecting it from the phone? So there's no way to actually turn it off. If this Easy LE adapter is plugged into the phone, then it's always kind of on. And the only way that it will stop working is, of course, if you take it off the phone. Next, can we answer phone calls by pressing the push button of the hearing aid or by tapping the hearing aid to enable this hands-free communication? And I think Christina already talked about this, but unfortunately, you cannot use this functionality with the Easy LE adapter because the hearing aid is not aware. Is it streaming music? Is it streaming a phone call? So the hearing aid does not really know what command to send to this Easy LE adapter. So if you want to take advantage of this hands-free functionality, you just need to get the phone and answer it from the phone instead of tapping the hearing aids. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here. Okay, so that's what we have so far. We actually have way more questions, and because we know that the Easy LE adapter is a connectivity device and it can connect to so many different devices, that's why we actually have a handout. So we have way more of these questions. The ones that I talked about are only some of them. But here you can see there's way more questions that we have prepared for you. And that is available in the handout. And one thing that I want you guys to be aware of, I can see that some people have forwarded the invitation to the webinar to other people. So I don't have your email. That's a problem, which is why in the future, if you want to receive the handouts, if you want to be invited to the webinars, you have to register for the webinar, okay? Yeah, so I will also include our email address. And if you want to be included in future Philips communication or receive the invitations to the webinar, don't forget, just write us to Burn Export News. Tell us you want to be included in the Philips webinar. Make sure you write there Philips webinar. And then, yeah, I will add you. So in the future, you will receive all of the invitations that we have. Okay? So now, get ready with your phone to scan the QR code in the next slide, because we would really love to hear from you. So tell us what you think. It will only take 1 or 2 minutes. We really appreciate all the help that you know, by showing up. We appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what we have for today. We still have actually 4 minutes to spare. That's really good. And just to share my personal experience with this Easy LE adapter, I can tell that it's really worth first trying it out for yourself. Of course, hearing is believing. But if you have a chance to try it out, I'm assuming your Android phone is probably more on the newer side. But in case it doesn't have LE audio and you happen to have a USB-C outlet, try this Easy LE adapter. Compare the sound with the Easy LE adapter versus without an Easy LE adapter. And I can tell you that there is actually quite an audible difference, because not only does this Easy LE adapter allow you hands-free communication, but the streaming, the quality of the sound which is being streamed is actually way better than with an ASHA protocol. So give that a try. I leave you with this slide. And yeah, I think that's all we have on the Easy LE adapter. Christina, do you want to say something?
Yes, Marielle, there was a question from Dimitrios, which I think is really interesting. Is HearSuite going to show us that the hearing aids have been paired to the Easy LE adapter? And actually, I was going to say I cannot answer it.
I believe,
but I'm sure we can find out and then communicate it. Would you know, Marielle?
Yes, I'm not 100% sure on this because I haven't checked, but I believe that the Easy LE adapter, maybe let's take a look at some of the questions that we have. It's actually registered as a phone in the software.
Oh.
So for example, we have this question where if you want to change a phone loudness, and of course that would influence the streaming volume from the Easy LE adapter, you just need to go to, the accessories, you select phone, and you can adjust as is. So if you want to remove the pairing also via HearSuite, probably you would see the name phone. Hope that answers your question, Dimitrios. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we don't have any more questions for today. Thank you guys for joining.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. Yeah. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.